I'm Negative Niece. That's Harb. Voice is a little scratchy today, Harb. Long night yesterday and night. Great day prior to the game. Game was different story, but we're here to talk about it, right, Harb? Little
Sure
ther
are.
little group therapy session.
Let's let's do our best to start the show with a positive note. We normally talk about this at the end. Phenomenal tailgate this weekend. List is way too long to name everybody that came by. That was one of the amount like total amount of people that came by. That was probably the biggest one we've had all year.
Hmm.
Um, Super fun. Shout out to everybody that came by. Um, Had a blast. We've never lost a tailgate. We are undefeated in tailgates. So thank you for helping us reach the or keep the dash zero alive on tailgates. And then the day took a little bit of a turn.
Unfortunately.
Tennessee suffered a loss to the hands of the Oklahoma Sooners, 33-27. First home loss for the Vols to a non-Georgia team since 2021 when Michelob Ultras and French's Mustard and Yellow Pro V's rained down on Neyland or Shields Watkins Field. Uh, it wasn't the same feel as that. Not even a little bit, in my opinion.
No.
Walking out of the stadium, I wasn't even mad. I wasn't mad. It was just like pure dejection. And we'll get into it more, but just so many unforced errors, beating yourself, which we've kind of done all year if you really dive into it, especially the three losses we have. We are ipso facto eliminated from the college football playoff. And yeah, like there's no anger. There was anger after the Georgia game. There was anger after the Bama game. This one just kind of hurt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was I was mad, more mad last night. Today I'm just frustrated after sitting back and, thinking about it and looking back at I mean, it's just a micro that game again. We talked about it. We've talked about it the last few weeks. It's this team just keeps making so many physical mistakes, mental mistakes, the turnovers, the penalties at the wrong time, the missed assignments, the missed tackles, and it's not like they're doing it constantly, but it catches up with them. And it happened again last night. I mean, Tennessee's goes up 7-0, first drive of the game. They hold Oklahoma. They get the ball back. They're driving back down the field again. They're on the 24-yard line, and they're poised to kind of break this thing wide open early and take control of the game. And David Sanders, it was an RPO. Mike Matthews was wide open. If you look at the wide view of the play, I mean, he was wide open for a possible touchdown. And David Sanders just totally blew an assignment. And Joey Aguilar had no shot, no chance, and just got waylaid, fumble, and then Miles Kitselman looked like he was playing patty cake with the defender running down the field and couldn't tackle him. And I saw some report. I mean, Tennessee pretty much gave OU 16 points in the first half. I mean, we were down 16-10 at the end of the first half and kind of dominated them, to be honest. I mean, I didn't really want to say dominated, but they kind of did. I mean, we were the better football team on that field in the first half, and it's just been this team this year. They just can't get out of their own way. You can sit here and say they're a handful of plays away from being undefeated. I mean, you can probably say that about several teams, but it's just frustrating because I feel like they're better than what they are, and the players can't get out of their own way, the coaches can't get out of their own way. It's just frustrating to watch because they have a legit chance now. I hope it doesn't happen, but they could legitimately go 7-5 to finish the year because these mistakes, they are what they are at this point. We're in month three of the season. Yeah, month three, and they're still doing this stuff. So you got to think that the penalties are going to keep going, the fumble turnovers, the missed assignments. It's not going to stop, and we've still got to go to Florida, a place we haven't won in 22 years, and then we're playing a fired up Vanderbilt team here in Neyland, which I hate to say it, but they're going to come in here with a chip on their shoulder wanting to beat us because I mean we own that school, and if we don't start cleaning some of this stuff up, it is a legit chance this team goes 7-5. I mean, I hope they don't. I hope they went out and go 9-3, and that would be what my win-loss prediction was. Except I had us losing to Florida, not Oklahoma. But 9-3 with a chance to win a 10th game in a bowl game is nothing to sneeze at. But if they don't clean some of this stuff up and get it fixed, this season, I'm not saying it takes a nosedive, but finishing 7-5 with where this program is at now is not acceptable. I'll just be honest. It's just not.
No, for sure. And I think the more frustrating thing about being 6-3, it's not necessarily being 6-3. Like that was legitimately on the table before the season started, but it's how we got here. That's the most frustrating thing for me. The debacle of how we handled the end of the Georgia game, the shooting yourself in the foot right before half against Alabama, like we said on that episode, you probably still don't win that game, but the way it happened was just ridiculous. And I'll give Oklahoma credit; they took care of business. Oklahoma's not great, and we can sugarcoat it or spin it however we want to. They're not, especially their offense. And I'll give credit to their front seven. I think it was more so of a no-show by our offensive line than credit to their front seven. I think the official stats, we ran the ball 35 times and got 63 yards.
Yeah.
Hell, Joey got sacked 3 times in the first quarter, I think, including that strip sack, which that play, Miles Kitselman was my guy, and I was very vocal about that for a while. I'm not defending him anymore. I'm just not. I'm just not. And
He's not
I
been
mean,
good.
and part of me wants to feel bad for saying that because well, they're kids and they're college students. They make more money than I do.
They
They're
ain't
not
kids.
kids.
They're over 18.
Yeah. Um, that play was just insane. But I knew we was in trouble when we were down 16-10 and we gave up 90 yards of total offense in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even then, uh, we get a stop and then go right down the field. Was it Staley or Matthews that got the long touchdown? Go up 17-16.
Staley.
Yeah. And in that moment, you're kind of like, okay, like this is kind of where it turns. Like we're getting in our groove. Hell no, that ain't what happened. If I'm not mistaken, that drive right after they went right down the field on us, or maybe a couple after that. But
Wasn't it it's kind of a blur last night, Harv. I'm trying to
no, I know. Yeah,
trying to get my bearings back here.
I was out of my seat there for a little bit.
Yeah. Um I'm trying to look so that was in the third quarter. Um so Tennessee scored. OU that the next possession is when Oklahoma fumbled. And Tennessee proceeded to run the ball three straight times right up the middle for a grand total of 1 yard. Took a minute 56 off the clock. And then OU got the ball back and proceeded to march down the field. and score a touchdown. And then the next Tennessee possession, they went 3 plays for 4 yards. Oh, you kicked a field goal. So now they're up 23-17.
Let's backtrack real quick. Those two interceptions that Joey threw in the second quarter are two of the worst picks I've seen.
Yeah, that was the
Like especially
old.
especially the second one. Like after we get the first down, there's what 55 seconds left. We've got two timeouts. And was that intended for was it Jefferson?
I think.
It was intended for Jefferson. It wasn't even close. And Joey's my guy. He's had a great year, but those two throws were just brutal. The first one was a good throw, it was just a shitty read.
Yeah.
It was a good throw. I don't know if didn't see the DB or what, but I mean, he was all over it. That second one was just, I don't know.
That
It's
was that
it's hard. It's hard to play winning football when you constantly make mistakes and shoot yourself in the foot.
that was the Joey Aguilar that we had heard about from Appalachian State last year, I guess, where he, was forcing the ball through some, some bad interceptions. There's interceptions and then there's bad interceptions, and both of those last night were bad.
Hmm.
Um, just it's like we mentioned it. It's hard to play winning football when, and honestly, we on here last week we're going on and on about the defense. Well, the defense really wasn't the problem. I mean, they weren't great by any means last night, but they did enough to win that game last night. And
The first half, the defense was great.
you're right.
Yeah.
And but the offense stunk. And turnovers, I mean, it's just that's what's so frustrating. It's just the same thing over and over again. And I mean, we'll get into, talking about Josh Heupel here in a minute, but it just makes you wonder, like, why is this continuing to happen? It's not something that just happened. It's not a one-off. This has been the whole year. I mean, even in wins at Mississippi State, we shot ourselves in the foot. The win against Arkansas, we shot ourselves in the foot. I mean, it's just you got away with a couple of them, but those two games could have easily slid the other way. And look where we would be at if it didn't. But I mean, I just don't get it. I just like they're better than this, and I think they know that. But I mean, I don't want to say the season's over, but your playoff hopes are about bare minimum now. It's just probably not going to happen unless chaos happens above you. And yesterday, Tennessee, I mean, look what happened in the top 10. Three teams lost. I mean, Tennessee had a either one of these teams, prime opportunity to move up. And Oklahoma, give them credit. They took advantage of it.
Where did
We didn't.
Oklahoma end up in the AP?
I didn't pay attention. I know we dropped to what, 24th, I think,
23 or
or
24.
23 or 24. But yeah, frustrating loss. I mean, just so many missed opportunities. It stinks. Tennessee's got a week off to lick their wounds, recover, get some people healed up. Um, and then we move on to New Mexico State. 3-5 New Mexico State.
Yeah. Um, I'm I'm trying to figure out a way to put this because one, I'm about to admit that I'm wrong, and I don't like doing that. Uh, I just think that we're not as good as we thought we were.
Maybe we're not.
I don't think we are, and
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they
and you can have stints where you play well, and that's all fine and dandy. But when the nuts are on the line, that's when it matters, and that's when this team just doesn't execute. And the one time we did was the Mississippi State game. Congrats. I mean, we have played. Is that yeah? We've played 9 games, and Mississippi State's your best win.
it's not good.
No, it's awful. It's
Not good.
absolutely awful. And I don't know. We'll get to what I was about to say here in just a second. I'm gonna
So
let
I we talked about mistakes on the field, but what about the coaching staff, Harb? I was thinking about this earlier today, and I am not one of these that is advocating for Josh Heupel to be fired. That's been going around by some of you morons out there, and I don't get it. Um, I think he deserves a chance to see this thing through and see if he can take Tennessee to that next level. Can he? I think he can, but will he's the question. And I think I posted this on our socials this morning. Is it time to start having some tough or hard conversations about the Tennessee football program, and not in the fact of like firing Josh Heupel, but is it time that he does a little, and I'm surely he does this, but is it time that he does a self-examination of him and his staff and like, okay, we've got us to the point where Tennessee's going to win 8 or 9 games, and that's great. But what I got to do to get us to 10 and 11 playoffs and further, I just don't think with the way this staff, and this is just my opinion, with the way this staff's set up right now, who's on the staff and how it's structured, it's just not going to happen because you've got your top two coordinators who have on the defensive side of the football, it not been, that side unit has not been good, in my opinion, has not been good except for last season while he's been here. I know there was some job openings where his name came up last year, and it didn't end up happening. And he was a finalist for some the was it the Broyles Award for top assistant or whatever, and that was great. They had a good year last year, but outside of that, look at Tennessee's defense under Tim Banks. Since he's been here, it's middle to lower end of the country. And that's a fact. And Joey Halsey was hired as offensive coordinator after Alex Golesh took the head job at South Florida. And the offense has, I won't say it's been bad. I mean, it's statistically been very good this year, but you said it a couple weeks ago after that Alabama game, Harb. I think this staff just overthinks it sometimes. And take, for instance, that play Tennessee was down 9, 26-17, fourth quarter. They're driving to get it down to one score, and they have that fourth down, and they basically ran the same play they ran at the goal line against Alabama. And it was
executed perfectly.
yeah, it was a great play. It was wide open. But my question is, why Van Doorslayer? A guy who's not caught a pass all year long. What is he doing out there? And two, that's a catch that a high school tight end, a mediocre high school tight end should catch. I mean, and it hit him in the face, and his hands were nowhere near being ready to catch the football. He was not ready to catch the football. So my question was why him? Like, why take your three wide receivers out of the game? Why not? I mean, I know Kitzelman's dropped some passes, but I just think they're like, oh, we're gonna get him right here. We're gonna throw it to Van Doorslayer. They'll never suspect it. Okay, they didn't, but he didn't execute, and that's goes back to what we were saying a minute ago. This team just can't get out of their own way. Even when they do something right, they still screw it up. And I think that's what's frustrating about it. It's the philosophy, and I just don't think it's going to get us to that next level unless some changes are made. I'm not a big fan of Joey Halsey. Sometimes I don't know what they're doing. Not a big fan of Tim Banks, and I know he's playing, with not a full deck of cards back there with Gibson and McCoy out. Um, but we're in year 5, and okay, we he Tennessee was 3-7 when Josh Heupel got here. We got progressively better, and it's just kind of flatlined here. What do we got to do to get to the next step? Is my question, Hard.
I think it still goes back to just stop overthinking. Like 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 on those fourth and one, like on 4th and 1 in this game, and with 9 seconds left in the first half against Bama, just line up and be better than them for one play. You have a good offensive line. You got good tailbacks. Just be better. And we probably wouldn't be talking too much about this play if he caught it, obviously. But and I don't really put it on him. I don't know. I mean, we was already down 9, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting frustrated, but
No, and that wasn't why Tennessee lost, not getting that play, and I'm not saying that, but I mean that's just a microcosm. Like it's just frustrating, and I'm not even one of these like we should have run the ball. I just before we started recording, Washington Redskins had a 4th and inches, and they threw it. I mean that's an NFL, and they got it. Their
yeah,
tight end caught it. But we just have a knack. Look at some of the stuff that's happened to this team this year too. I mean, some of the back-breaking plays, the Bama game, last night, I think OU had like 3 plays that broke school records. So I mean, that's not helped either. But I just think you're right on the just overthink things, man. Just play your game and go out there and beat them. Like, stop overthinking it, guys.
yeah. And by the way, y'all probably get tired of hearing us yap, just us two here recently. So we got a new segment. Hopefully, it's going to be reoccurring. This is the Marshall Minute, and this is when we allow call-ins to the show. We got a caller on line 1. Let's hear it, caller.
What's going on, fellas? Good evening.
Good evening. Nice talking to you.
Who we got? Who we got here, Harb?
Yeah, who we got on the phone here?
It's Brett.
Mr. Brett Stanton.
Stanton.
Brett Stanton.
All right. Brett, tell us what you thought about the game, maybe where we go from here. We just got done talking a little bit about the coaching staff. Just give us your little rundown. Tell us your side of things.
It was one of the more frustrating games that I've ever been in Neyland for. It's when you looked up at the stats at halftime and you see that we held that offense to 90 yards, which is not what you expected, and then you looked at the scoreboard and seen that we were down, you knew we were in a tough spot coming into the second half. So that was frustrating, and we just giving up the defensive touchdown to them hurt big time. So just all in all, it was frustrating. That would be the way I would word that game. Not, I don't think we're in a terrible spot to where we need to start doing drastic changes and stuff like some of the stuff you heard on social media as soon as the game was over. Now, I will say this: I'm one of those that I got to see Tennessee football at the highest of the highs back in the '90s when we lost 2 games and it was the roof was falling in to where we were lucky to win 4 to 5 games a year. So I'm not in a fire Tim Banks, nothing like that. It's fun. I think when me and you had this conversation after the game at the truck, drinking a few chocolate milks. It's fun.
Just a few, right?
Yeah, just 1 or 2. Just to keep the blood warm.
Yeah.
So, it's fun to have November football games matter again.
Yes.
I mean,
Hey, Brett, my question to Harb was like Josh Heupel's got us to a point, when he got here, we were 3-7. He progressively got us to now where we're winning 8, 9, maybe 10 games a year. What's he got to do to go that next step?
I just think it takes patience. I mean, it's not we're right there. I mean, we're 1 kick away from being, what would we be, 5-2, 6-2 right now if we would make a kick against
7-2.
Georgia.
7-2.
7-2, okay. And 1 bad play against Alabama and a few plays here and there against Oklahoma. I mean, we haven't lost a game where it was just like, okay, we did not belong in that game. And we went through a stretch, 12, 14 years where there was multiple games that it was like, okay, we didn't deserve to be on the same field as that team. We haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. You
I
pretty
think
much said the same thing I said.
all in all, we're in a good spot. We've got a good recruiting class coming in. It seems like the guys are somewhat get along over there. The coaches seem to be in a good spot. Football it matters again late in the season. So that's where I'm at. Is that I don't got nothing drastic. Not calling for anybody's job. Was there some things that we could have cleaned up? Yeah. The one thing that it's got frustrating last night is I felt like a couple of times when we get a first down, and I know this is Heupel's MO, so I don't think we necessarily need to change, but this was just frustrating to me last night. We get a big first down, and we go ultra fast to run it right up the middle for a 1 yard gain. And
Yes.
all of a sudden we're in second long. I felt like we did that a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that quite often, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more of maybe a patient first down play call after a big first down. But again, I'm not calling for Heupel's job or anything. He obviously coaches football for a lot more money than I'll ever get paid to coach football. So, and the one big complaint I would have, and I'm sure y'all probably already touched on this, the after we get the turnover, the stop, I think we got a turnover, and then we go run, and then we call a play like I'm going to call this Saturday when I coach fourth grade football. We ran quarterback right on 3rd and 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
mean, what in the world? We fake it to a running back running right, and then we follow the running back? Like, who did that
Yeah.
trick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but again, I'm in a position where football it matters again in November. And do I want to lose? I'm not a moral victory guy. I think you all know that very well. But the roof's not falling in on the program. I don't think we're anywhere close to that. We've got a good recruiting class coming in. Hopefully we can work the portal, get some D-line, offensive line in here and clean up our secondary. Maybe next year we'll have cornerback 1 and 2 actually play a snap for us. I mean, that's putting Tim Banks in a tough spot when you don't got your 2 cornerbacks.
I
In
absolutely
the SEC,
agree.
you play against the best athletes in the world in college, and we don't got our best 2 cornerbacks to guard their best athletes. That's tough for a defensive coordinator.
No, I agree. And I think this is so ridiculous it shouldn't even be said, but Heupel's job's 1,000% safe. I do think he is in one of the upper tiers as a head coach in college football. But I will say, I do think just for maybe publicity or saving face, somebody on this coaching staff's getting the axe come December. And somebody's going to be a scapegoat, and I can't imagine it's Halsey with how good this offense has been as far as statistics wise. So it's probably going to be Banks, and I just don't think he really deserves it. But it may just be time for a fresh face in there.
I could see the fresh face approach, but I'm not pushing for Tim Banks to get fired. I understand sometimes you get to a point where fresh face may be good. But again, when you don't have your 2 best cornerbacks play for you 1 snap through 9 games, how good was your defense really going to be? It's not like we line up and we know teams are going to pound it at us, the whole game, and cornerbacks aren't that important. In the SEC, you got to be able to guard people.
Yeah. No, for sure. We agree. But I think for publicity or whatever you want to call it, I do think somebody's getting the chop.
Yeah, there were some on social media today suggesting the special teams coach.
Could be. So somebody's going to. I feel
Yeah.
like it's feels pretty
I mean,
obvious.
let me ask you this, and this is something I know you don't always see things, and I did some reading last night and this morning after the game, and you don't see it while you're there live in person. Was there any reports? Why did Boo Carter not hardly play last night?
I think
I,
he's already got one foot out the door.
yeah, I
Is
think he
that is okay.
I
I,
would be shocked if he's on the roster
I
next year.
think I think he played so poorly too against Kentucky that maybe they're just like, you know what, we're done with this experiment. That's my feelings on it.
Well, because he didn't hardly play last night. What did he return a punt or two? And that's
That
about
was
it.
it. Yeah, he did not play one
Not in on
defensive snap.
defense at all.
Damn, he didn't.
Not
I don't
one.
remember seeing him, but
No, but I saw that this morning. He didn't play at all defensively.
That's what me and Dad ate dinner at Aubrey's tonight, and it was one of those. He brought that up, and I was like, ah. And then when I got home, started watching the Sunday night football game, I kind of did a little research, and no, I think he might have played 3 snaps, and I think they were all 3 special teams.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, so no, my whole attitude is the roof's not falling in. Now I've read some crazy things on social media that if Heupel loses another game or two the rest of this season, that this seat gets really hot. I highly disagree with that, especially if we lose the way we've lost. I mean, we haven't had a non-competitive game. One play against Alabama changed that whole game. Other than that, we lost to Oklahoma last night. By what they end up losing by 9?
6.
6.
Oh, did we? Okay, we kicked the field goal on my way
Yes.
out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I think I was already in G10 on the chocolate milks at that. Yeah.
Smart. You're smarter than me.
Let me ask y'all this: what was your all's thoughts when we do get that score and we cut the game to 6? Did you all agree? And I guess I've got 2 questions here, kind of one and the same. When Joey ran the ball with 2 minutes and 9 seconds, I think it was, he ran out of bounds. Why in the world did the clock not stop?
Yeah, we were asking that where I was at yesterday. Like I was like, why is the clock not stopping? He ran out of bounds, and they said, oh, it's because he went sideways. And I was like, it doesn't matter under 5 minutes, to my knowledge, unless there's something that I don't know about.
Well, I think. Oh, I don't know if it's in college too, but in the NFL, like if you run backwards out of bounds.
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah, but
he was running forward, and then
but he was, yeah.
He actually got pushed out of bounds.
I mean, he was running at an angle forward. It wasn't straight forward, but it was at an angle forward. That's why I didn't understand it.
I think that probably the clock not stopping right there probably answers my next question. But right there, if we go out of bounds with 2 minutes, 9 seconds, the clock stops. The next play, we threw a touchdown pass to Matthews on a post route, and it took 4 seconds. Right there, do you all think that the strategy changes if we're kicking the ball with the 2 minute warning and 2 timeouts? Do you think we would have still kicked an onside kick?
Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty big deal at that point, not getting that clock to stop on that run. I mean, obviously we scored the next play. Nobody knew we were going to score the very next play, but I thought that was weird. The clock didn't stop right there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a different thought process. And when you're kicking the ball with what was it, a minute 57, 56, whatever it was.
Yeah.
If you don't have all 3 timeouts, you have to try it. And
okay.
In my opinion, there was a couple people that was sitting around me that said we should have kicked it deep. If you have all 3 timeouts, maybe.
Yeah.
See, I probably would have kicked it deep because I think just kicking the ball deep kind of keeps them on the conservative mode because nobody wants to turn the ball over at the 25 at that point versus the other 40. I think it kind of opens up your playbook having it at the 40 because you screw up, the other team still got to go 60, 70 yards. But having it down there on the 25. And again, the play that they scored on, that was the biggest hole of the night. They could have ran from Carter High School to Neyland Stadium. That hole was so big.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
I would have kicked it deep, but again, that's not me. I'm Monday morning quarterbacking right there. So easy to say that after that happens. But again, I'm calling for Heupel's job. I don't think anything that can happen for the rest of this season, unless the wheels just completely fall off, will get me to that point. Again, my mindset was football's matters again in November. And before Heupel got here, we went through 12 years where it was like, are we going to make a bowl game?
Yeah. Well, all right, Brett. We appreciate you. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. I believe we're about to try to wrap this show up and get into some power rankings. And
Can I make one more comment? If we fire Heupel, who are we going to get?
That's a great question, because you could say that about all these other programs. Who are they going to get? Like LSU, Auburn, all of them. Who are they going to get right now? That's going to satisfy their fan bases.
Fulmer would come back. Never mind. He could never win the big one.
Yeah, Fulmer never could win the big game, is what I've been told.
Yeah, I believe our friend Chad Grubb said that.
Yeah, he could never win the big one, Brett.
Couldn't win it. Never did.
90s Braves.
90s Braves.
I'll get into these power rankings, and I'll post where y'all are wrong on that too.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Brett.
Excellent. See you, man.
See you. All right, that was the Marshall 15 minutes.
The Marshall 15 minutes brought to you by Andrew's Physical Therapy, Harb.
I should have known I couldn't have got a Stanton to talk for about 2 or 3 minutes. That one's
yeah. I was gonna say there's no 2-minute segment with a Stanton anywhere. I ran into Mike Andrews yesterday there in G10 when I was coming out of the Porta-John, and he was there with VFL Art Reynolds. So talked to them for a few minutes, and Mike said we're hopefully going to work out a little partnership again like we had back during I don't know, when was that? Spring, summer time. So we'll announce that soon. But this is a little appetizer for those guys, and if you do need any physical therapy work done, go over and see those guys. Or if you just want to go shoot the bull, I'm sure they'll have you. I did read the other day where, if you're a Carter High person, that they're trying to obtain copies of all the yearbooks they can get, and they'll be on display for anybody that wants to come see them, kind of like a museum at Andrew's Physical Therapy over there on Asheville Highway. So that should be interesting. I didn't notice they didn't have a 2002 dial, I think is what they call them. Dial. So you gotta get that CHS dial. But yeah, good to run into Mike and Art yesterday. I don't think Art knew who I was, but
I didn't know who I was either.
I don't think Art knows who some people are. He's just hanging out, which is, I appreciate that. But we'll talk more about that. We'll have maybe Brett next week, maybe somebody else. If you want to call in, let us know. I know there's one other that'll want to call in.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get him, but I'm sure there might be some others. So we'll get Brett on, and we'll try to rotate some others through on that.
Also, speaking of Collins, real quick, Florida game. Win or lose, call me or niece immediately after the game. Leave us a voicemail, and we might put a little montage together. I think that'd be really fun.
It's kind of
if we win, it'll be great. If we lose, it may be better content.
We'll come up with a name for it, but it's kind of like Door Bumper Clear, the NASCAR podcast to listen to. They have Reaction Theater where people call in after the races. Sometimes they're singing songs. Sometimes they're ranting and raving. Sometimes they're celebrating their driver winning. So they're very interesting phone calls. So yeah, do that. Call me or Harb. We'll send it straight to the voicemail and we'll play it on the air. We'll probably wait till Florida game, like Harb said. I don't think, unless something bad happens in New Mexico State, That might be even better.
That might be our best episode of all
Yeah.
time.
Power rankings, Harb.
You want me to go?
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, um, at 16, I've still got Kentucky, even though they did get a conference win, a road conference win. Their home conference losing streak is still alive. But they fired Hugh Freeze, but that's not enough to move you up. Uh, 15, I've got Arkansas, no change there. At 14, I've dropped Auburn. That's what happens when you get beat by Kentucky, especially at home. You held them to 10 points and still lost. They are now coachless. They join a pretty wild list of schools that don't have a head coach. This is going to be one of the crazier coaching carousels this offseason. So 13, I've got South Carolina. Pretty much just bumped them up because Auburn sucks. That's like that Squidbillies episode with T Pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. 12, I have Mississippi State. They're hanging on by a thread. Well, not season wise, but they also got bumped up a couple because Auburn sucks. 11's LSU. 10, I've got Florida. And I wanted to move them up a hair higher, but I can't justify it in front of any of the other nine teams. But they looked good against Florida or against Georgia. They kind of had that game and blew it. But that's the difference between us and Georgia. Unfortunately, winners win.
Yep.
You find a way. It doesn't matter if you beat them for 57 minutes, you win the other three. Uh, and that leads me into my next point. At 9, I've got Tennessee. You just you got to drop pretty good after that loss. Credit to Oklahoma, but that was the worst game we played all year, in my opinion. Um, and you deserve to be at 9. 8, I've got Texas. I've got them only going up one spot after their win against Vandy. Their offense finally has a pulse, or it did against Vanderbilt. I thought Arch Manning looked good, but they almost blew it. They tried to, but I think they were up by enough to where it wasn't necessarily in jeopardy. Their playoff hopes are still alive by an absolute thread. So we've got Texas at 8. They probably will go up in the next week or so if they continue to win. 7 is Missouri. I think they were idle this week. They play anybody?
I think they were off.
Yeah, so no change there. 6, I have Oklahoma. I didn't see enough to put them any higher, but I will give them credit on a good road win. And then my top 5 is the same as last week. I've still got Vandy at 5, just because I don't really know. They're at the very bottom of the top tier, and they're at the very top of the mid tier. And a 3-point loss in Austin doesn't change that for me personally. And then 4, Ole Miss, 3, Georgia, 2, Bama, 1, A&M. That's what I've got. If you don't like it, make your own.
Exactly. Mine, there were some changes, Harb, all across the board on mine, so bear with me. Kentucky at 16, that is not a change. Arkansas at 15, also not a change. Shout out Kentucky. How about that win? 10-3. Whew. What a game. I've still got South Carolina at 14. I believe they were idle this weekend. I dropped Auburn to 13. Not only did they lose to Kentucky, which drops you to the bottom tier of the conference when that happens, their offense is pitiful. And then they fired Hugh Freeze this afternoon. Word got out beforehand because his standing tee time at the Auburn Country Club there in Auburn was mysteriously canceled this morning. And it's always for like 1 or 2 o'clock on Sunday, and it was canceled. And so word started getting around they canceled Hugh Freeze's standing tee time at the golf course. And then about 2 hours later, he was gone. So
You're
um,
fired.
I was I was in the box last night. Reagan was up there with us, and she looked at me and she said, "How are we that bad?" And one of her friends, she reposted this meme. Harb, I don't know if I showed it to you, but I'll put it on the screen. But it's Shane Gillis and his wife or girlfriend, whatever is, and the girlfriend or wife is Auburn's defense, but Shane Gillis is Auburn's offense. I'll put it on the screen for everybody to see. But yeah, Auburn, not good. Bad. I was giving them too much props earlier in the season, but their offense was just not good. Mississippi State at 12, nice win. Come from behind win at Arkansas. So I moved them back into the mid category. They've had some tough luck too, so that kind of stinks. But Florida at 11, uh, fought with Georgia, just couldn't pull it out. But they're playing a little bit better football here toward the end of the season. LSU at 10, I believe they were off this week, so I think I had them at 11 last week. Missouri at 9, they were also off this week. Just not a big fan of Missouri. I moved Texas up to 8. Nice win over Vanderbilt. They were actually up 31-10 in the second half at one point, but had to hold off the Commodores to pick up that win. So they're still in the playoff hunt. I begrudgingly left Tennessee at 7. Um, Honestly, I probably should have Texas in front of them at this point. I'm just not a believer in Texas. I know they beat Vandy yesterday. Um, they've not been consistently good. If they consistently play better football down the stretch, they'll move up. But right now, I got Tennessee at 7. I mean, they're still going to be favored, although not as large favorites as we once thought in these remaining games. But they have a chance to finish 9-3, which is the top half of the conference. So we'll see how that goes. Moved OU up to 6. Nice win in Knoxville, even though it wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win. Tough road game. Them and Texas are still in the playoff hunt. Tennessee is not, which is why I struggled with putting Tennessee at 7. But top 5 remains the same. Vandy at 5, even though they lost to Texas. Ole Miss 4, Georgia 3, Alabama 2, Texas A&M number 1. And that's our power rankings. Like Harp said, if you don't like it, you send us your own, and we'll repost it for you. And I don't know, I've only had one comment to me, Harb, about the power rankings, and it was about yours. They said Harb don't know what he's doing, and I won't reveal who it was. And I said, well, if you don't like it, post your own.
Did this person's last name start with a T?
Possible, yes.
Imagine that. My
I
biggest fan.
think it was. I think it was them. I could be mistaken though. It was somebody. I can't remember who it was. His last name may actually start with a P.
You lost me on that one.
PP.
Oh, ain't nobody worried
It
about.
may have been
Ain't
PP.
nobody worried about no damn PP.
It may have been old PP. I can't remember. I don't think his last name started with T. I think it was PP.
By the way, PP, go and check and see if your truck's locked.
Yeah. Might want to lock your truck, PP, before you just walk off from it with thousands of people around. Might be smart. Harb,
Unbelievable.
it was a big day yesterday. So I got to go up into the box with my uncle and my aunt and Reagan, who you all know about. Big tailgate, like Harb mentioned, tons of people, had some great food. Chassie and I cooked up some chili, two different types of chili for the tailgate. I think it was pretty good, except It wasn't very warm because we couldn't get the warmers to work for some reason, but we'll go to work on that. But great tailgate. Was up in the box last night, Harb, and I kind of this is why I was struggling in the third quarter because I kind of faded out there for a minute. But Travis Stevens came in our box, and then he went back, and then he came back with Cozy Coleman. So Travis Stevens and Cozy Coleman were in the box. I just realized what I said, by the way. They were in the box. They were
Trying to
in the
hold back.
box. And then I walk outside into the into the common area where the food is, and I'm like, God, that looks like Barry Switzer. And the guy in front of me said, Yeah, it is Barry Switzer. And I was like, No way, that's crazy. I was like freaking out. I was like, That's one of the greatest coaches, football coaches of all time. And he's Oklahoma guy. And he had an OU shirt on, but very nice. We walked right up to him. He shook our hands, asked us what our names were, asked us if we were enjoying the game, and took a picture with us. I'll put it on here for y'all to see. But um, I went back to the box and I said, "Man, I just met Barry Switzer out there." And Melody said, "Who's that?" And I said, "He won a national championship at Oklahoma, and then he won one with the Cowboys." And she said, "Oh, I've never heard of him." But my uncle was like, growing up in the '80s, Barry Switzer he was the man. He was, great college football coach. They were winning like crazy down there at Oklahoma. So that was pretty cool. I'm assuming he was up there with Philip Fulmer. So and saw Kane, the big red monster, was up there. Didn't get a picture with Kane.
My God.
My God, I mean, just everybody was up there. But yeah, fun night in the box, except for the losing part. Get your mind out of the gutter, Harbin.
No, I'm good. I'm good. That comment was 5 minutes ago. We're good.
Yeah, yeah. You know how I am. I say stuff sometimes.
Oh boy.
Well, so the Vols are off next week.
Thank
Bye. They're idle. I need a week off, to be honest. I'm wore out.
God. Mm-hmm.
I need a weekend off. That yesterday wore me out. So uh, we'll rest up and recover this week. Vols are off next week, and then they host New Mexico State on November 15th at Neyland Stadium. I think that's a 4:15 kickoff. I don't know if we'll be back on here next week since Tennessee's idle. Maybe the YY8 show will be idle. Just a couple quick shout outs before we go. YY8 Refugee stopped by the tailgate yesterday. Him and his buddy, was it Andy? I think was his name. I can't remember.
Eric.
I'm sorry.
Eric.
Who?
I think it's Eric.
I can't remember. Whoever he was, whatever his name was, it was nice to meet him. Great guys.
Visiting
YY8.
from Colorado, so
Yes, he was from Denver, Colorado.
a cross country vol.
But they stopped by for about 20, 30 minutes, and then their wives were summoning them back to the other tailgate they were at. But good to see the YY8 refugee. We go back to our days in YY8, and then we got moved, and he became the refugee. We're all refugees of YY8, wandering the wilderness until we can one day go back to the promised land of YY8, which no longer exists. So, good to see him. I don't really want to mention a whole lot of other people because there was so many people that came by, like Harp said. But it was good to see everybody. Glad everybody was able to come by. Cousin Shane from that SEC podcast was just walking by, and I talked to him for a few minutes. Big fan of those guys. I don't
When
think
did
you
that
were.
happen?
I think you were somewhere else or buying blueberry pies from somebody.
Oh, and
Or
shout out to Chassis. She
yeah.
she got to have her pecan pie and coffee for breakfast this morning.
Harb got set up bad on that one.
Yeah,
If you
I did.
if you know what we're talking about, there's always people walking around selling cookies or pies or koozies trying to raise money, and they came up to us and Chassis said, "Oh, that guy right there and that hat and shirt wants to buy it," and it was you. And
Well, in backstory, I normally buy something from at least one of them every tailgate. And everybody thinks it's a scam, but the way I look at it is I'm giving money to the cause. They told me if they're lying, that's on them. They got to answer for that. So, and like I told Chassis, I love to take care of my community.
She obviously doesn't,
No,
and I
no.
didn't either. So
Sad.
sad.
Sad. Somebody's got to take care of this community.
Well, Harb, you got anything else before we go?
I don't. Bye week, everybody take a breath. Everybody calm down. Uh, get to bed a little earlier this week. I mean, it gets dark at 3 o'clock now, so it probably shouldn't be too hard. It's
That
brutal.
that's my hater and loser of the week is the time change.
Yeah,
It sucks.
my kids aren't getting out of school and going to the farm anymore. Like,
They say it's because they'll catch the bus in the dark. So what?
they do that in the spring.
They do it in the spring. What does it matter?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
unbelievable.
Government overreach. Government overreach. Harb, go get you a good night's rest and recover. Hydrate. We'll be back sometime, either next week or the week after. Remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen to us at. YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple, Spotify, all those good places. Comment, leave us your top, I about said top 10, your power rankings, and we'll debate them with you. So appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate seeing everybody yesterday. We'll be back there in a couple weeks, hopefully. Probably won't be as big of a crowd for the Aggies coming to town, but we'll be there regardless. So Harb, we'll holler at you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate Brett coming on, giving us his wisdom and insights on Tennessee football.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Uh, yeah. Appreciate everybody that come and hung out. Also, Tennessee basketball plays this week.
On Monday night, yes, against Mercer.
Is it Monday or Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday.
I just looked it up. It's tomorrow night at 7, Monday night.
Okie dokie.
I hope you don't have YouTube TV and try to watch them because you won't.
Oh, it wouldn't be on YouTube TV anyway, would it? Because it's on SEC Network Plus.
But isn't that an ESPN thing? I don't know how that works.
It is, but I don't think you can get SEC Network Plus games on YouTube TV. I think you have to go
That's
to an app in
you're
general.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But either way, yeah, those two are my haters and losers.
It's both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
All right, I'm going to jump off here and go lay down, edit this thing, and
I'm
go.
about to get horizontal.
I'm gonna go
about
night night. Are
5 minutes.
you gonna levitate?
I might, yeah, I might just like rise up off of my bed.
Appreciate everybody listening. We'll be back soon, ASAP as possible. I'm Nice. That's Harb. You've been listening to the Section YY8 podcast.